Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to the chemistry sessions of class 9th. We are talking about chapter number 5 and today's our topic of discussion is solid state. The point of discussions are mentioned. We are going to discuss melting and freezing point, sublimation, types of solids, allotropic forms of solid, then comparison and the review exercises. Now the diagram shows that the gaseous state of matter can be converted into liquid upon condensation, which in turn freezes to form the solid state. The solid state upon sublimation changes into gas. Now the next topic is sublimation, in which we are going to discuss how these three states of matter are going to change into one another. Now in case of sublimation, if we heat a substance, then the solid substance, instead of changing into liquid, changes directly into the vapor form. This means that it is skipping one state. Therefore, this is known as the process of sublimation. The best example is solidified ammonium chloride. Now come towards the types of solid. Now the type in which there is a fixed pattern between the atoms is known as the crystalline solid, and the atoms that have random arrangements between them, as shown in the diagram, are of amorphous solid. This leads us to the example of quartz, which is found in the form of crystalline as well as amorphous solids as well. The next topic is the allotropic forms. The allotropic forms are basically the type of the same kind of molecule or element, but they have different arrangement. Like for example, white phosphorus is shown in this diagram, in which is a combination of 4 atoms in a tetrahedral pattern, whereas the red phosphorus is a tetrahedral molecule but joined with the help of a long chain. This diagram shows one single atom or a single unit of white phosphorus. Allotropes of carbon. Carbon atom is found in the form of different states in nature. The carbon atoms are joined together to form the structures of diamond and graphite, which are the allotropic forms of carbon. The allotropic forms are arranged in a way that the 4 atoms are joined together in the form of a tetrahedron to form the structure of diamond. Now each carbon atom is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms, forming a rigid 3-dimensional structure, making diamond the hardest known substance. Whereas in graphite, the carbon atoms are bonded to other carbon atoms that are 3 in number in a hexagonal para. The carbon atoms are joined with the help of a double bond. They are arranged in the form of layers, one above the other, forming a regular hexagonal pattern. Now the diamond and graphite, because they have different arrangements, so they have different type of chemical properties, but their same chemical properties, but their physical properties are different. Now graphite is also used in the conduction of electricity, whereas diamond is the hardest known substance known, which is also available commercially in small forms, like as shown in the diagram. This leads us to another form of carbon, third one, which is fullerene. In fullerene, the carbon atoms are arranged as like in a soccer ball. The most common example is carbon 60, in which the carbon atoms are arranged like a geodesic dome, which was formed by Buckminster Fuller, and hence the form is known as fullerene. Now we can sum up our whole lecture, in which we can compare the different forms of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Solid having the definite shape, liquid lacking the definite shape but volume, and gas lacking both the definite shape and volume. Now go over the whole chapter, revise and solve these review MCQs. After solving these MCQs, match your answers with the answer given. Now let's try to solve some of the numericals. Now see question number 1. The following data shows the collected data from an experiment of a student. Now you can see we are provided with the volume value of volume and pressure. The volume is in decimeter cube and the pressure is in atm. Now what we have to do, now the question demands, do you think that the student collected the data carefully or carelessly? Explain. Now according to the Boyle's law, we know that we are provided with the value of volume and pressure, so we know that we have to use Boyle's law, which states that the product of pressure and volume is constant at constant temperature. Now what we do is we calculate the product P into V for the two sets of conditions and then compare them. Now for the first set, this 400 and 353.3, we can represent it as P1 into V1. Now we put the value of pressure, which is given as 353.3 over here, 350.3.5 atm into 400 decimeter cube, which is the first value of volume. Now this will give us the answer 141,400 atm into decimeter cube. In the same way, we calculate the values for the second set of temperature, that is 442 into 320 decimeter cube volume, gives us the answer 141,440. For the third set, that is this 240 into 589, this gives us the answer 141,360 atm into decimeter cube. For the fourth set, that is 200 into 707, this gives us the answer 141,400 atm into decimeter cube. Now we write all the values in a comparison form. P1 V1 is not equal to P2 V2, as we can see from the values. P1 V1 is 141,400. P2 into V2, V141 into 4440. P3 into V2 is 141,360, which is again not equal to P4 into V4, which is 141,400. Now, because we have write down the sign of inequality, the reason is all the values are almost same, but the value of P3 into V3, which is 141 into 360, is not equal to the other values. Hence, we cannot put a sign of equality between these figures. So we can say that the calculated result does not agree with the relationship of Boyle's law. So the conclusion will be the student collected the data carelessly. Now move on to the next numerical. In the past, gas volume was used as a way of measure temperature using devices called as thermometer. The experimenter obtains the following data. The data is given. The values of volume and temperatures are given. What we have to do is show that the gas thermometer obtained the result is according to the Charles law. Now we have to prove the Charles law, which statements says that V by T remains constant at constant pressure. Now what we are going to do is, first of all, we make a table. The first column represents temperature. We can write down the values of temperature in degrees centigrade as it is. Second column shows the values of volume, which we write as it is in decimeter cube. Now the third volume is the third column, we write the values of temperature in Kelvin. So this is our first step. What we have to do is convert the degree centigrade into Kelvin by adding 273 to each value of temperature. See, 0 plus 273 gives us 273. 100 plus 273 gives us 373. 300 plus 273 gives us 573. Hence, all the values of temperature has been converted into Kelvin. Now, the next step is we have to find out V by T for each set and then compare these values. So, we can write the value of volume, that is 2.7, and divide it with 273 Kelvin temperature. That gives us the answer 0.0099. Now for the second set, we write 3.7 divided by 100 degrees centigrade. This gives us the answer 0.0099. For the third set, we divide 5.7 with 300 degrees centigrade. This gives us the answer 0.0099. As the ratio of V by T is constant, thus the volume increases with increase in temperature. We can say that the data proves the Charles law. Now moving on to the next numerical, that is the conversion of units. Now the first one is 850 mm of Hg into atm. We can write the numerical in the form of comparison values, like atm is equals to mm of mercury. 1 atm is equals to 760 mm of Hg or mercury. This is the standard formula. Now the value that we have to find out is 850 as given in our statement. We do not know the value or the sure answer, so we denote it by x. Now to find out the value of x, what we have to do is we simply divide our given value with the standard value of mm of Hg, that is 760. This gives us the answer 1.12 atm. This is how you can convert the atm into any other standard unit of pressure. Now moving on to the next one, 205,000 Pascal into atm. Now again we have to convert the value into atm, so we again use the formula of comparison. Pascal in equals to atm. Now 101,325 Pascal is equals to 1 atm. The given value is 205,000. We can compare it with the unknown value, which is x. Now to find out the value of x, we again divide the given value with the standard value, that is 101.325. This gives us the answer 2.02 atm. This is our final answer. Moving on to the numerical C, 560 torr into centimeter of Hg. Now torr is equals to 7 centimeter, cmHg is 1 torr is equals to 0.01 centimeter of Hg. The given value is 560. We can denote it as x. Now to find out the value of x, what we do, we simply divide the given value of the data torr into and multiply it with 0.01 to have our final answer, that is 560 centimeter of Hg. Now what is the actual thing here is, why we divide, instead of dividing this we multiplied, because the value of torr C over here, it is smaller than this value, that is it is larger than this value, that is 0.01 centimeter cube, hence the formula inverted. Now the next is 1.25 atm into Pascal. Now 1 atm is 101,325 Pascal. 1.25 is the data given, we denote it with x. Now to find out the value of x, we again multiply 1.25 with 101.325, as we have to convert atm into some other unit. In the previous numerical we are converting other units into atm, so we are dividing those values. Over here we have to convert atm into Pascal, so we divide so instead of dividing we multiply 1.25 with 101,325 to give us the final answer, that is 12656 Pascal. Now these are the numericals. Using these formulas and keep in mind these methods, try to solve the other numericals which are given in your exercise.